I'm Leslie.
And I'm Shelly.
And we're
Sisters in Ebert.
Welcome back for another Movie Monday.
Woo! This is a childhood memory
for
unlocked.
Us, and I'm sure for many of you too, because these kids were the it kids.
Yes, they're who you wanted to be.
If you're a girl.
True. It Takes Two,
Yeah.
Starring the lovely Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
As well as Steve Guttenberg and Kirstie
Kirstie
Alley.
Alley.
The late, great Kirstie
Oh,
Alley.
she was magic.
I know. So, we saw this in the theater.
We did, with Mom.
Yep.
I remember.
And it was one of the two mall theaters. I don't remember which one, but
Yeah, I remember. Oh, a kitty just hit our tripod.
Oh, poop. Come here.
There's a dog barking. There's a cat shaking the camera.
Chaos. So we're opening at a piano recital and simultaneously a stickball game. The contrast.
Yes. Oh. Entirely different lives for the two children being featured.
I said, is this 1930s Brooklyn with glass Coke bottles?
It's Brooklyn, isn't it? Like it
is Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's one of the boroughs. Orphan Amanda has an interview, but just has to hit a ball downtown first.
Just let me knock this one downtown, okay, Diane?
Diane, who's Kirstie Alley, hails the cab magically in an alley where there's no cars.
Yep.
Because the kids are playing stickball in the middle of the alley. And they've been uninterrupted. So Diane can't adopt Amanda on her salary. Not in a Park Avenue half double. I don't know if she said that she's not in a Park Avenue half double, but
what it is.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. Sorry, I didn't write that better. So, but she's not allowed to adopt her as a single person on her salary. But they're very attached. Diane
Yeah, they have a good
Amanda.
Rapport together.
Amanda's been there for a while. She's an older orphan.
So this is like a children's home. So all these kids in the street are orphans.
Right.
And so Kirstie Alley works there. Yeah. What's her name?
Diane.
Diane. I said it already. Diane! So Diane, sorry. Diane works there. And so this is Amanda's side of the story.
Yes. Okay. So they're talking about, like, Amanda doesn't want to go see another house. Like, she doesn't want to go see another family. She's like, it's got to be a real connection. That can't eat, can't sleep, over the fence, reach for the stars, World Series kind of feeling. And they're very much into baseball, but I get the feeling they're not very into baseball in real life. Like, nobody seems to know anything about baseball in real life.
It's very surface.
Yes. So we cut to limos at an airport for Callaway Cellular. A real big shot is getting off this plane, this private plane, and the butler there says, "You'd be surprised how big." And as the butler picks up Alyssa, who is the other Olsen twin. So Alyssa Callaway is her name.
Yes. So we have these two girls who look identical, but they are not twins. They're not related.
No, and they have very different lives.
Yes.
Amanda's upset. She doesn't want to go to camp. She wants to be she doesn't want to be adopted by the Butkus family, which
the
is where
Butkus family was the one she had the interview with.
Yes,
and they are creepy looking.
They are horrifying, and they have lots of children that they've adopted.
They collect kids.
Yes,
that's the word on the street with the orphans.
It was on one of the other boroughs, I think, too. But, like, it looked like a nice enough house. Oh, but that's what Diane said. That's what I meant when I said that. Because they pull up to a half a double, which in New York, even in a borough, a half a double's not bad. Yes. And she's like, well, it's not Park Avenue. What do you want, lady?
Right.
Okay.
And we've learned that Amanda's not getting adopted because people want to adopt babies. So, like, she's getting older. They're probably 9, 10. 10,
I'm thinking. And I think that she wants Diane to adopt her too, but Diane can't because of the rules of the agency and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
but the Butkuses, they're willing.
They're very willing. So Diane finally gets Amanda talked into going to camp on the bus. The limo passes the school bus on the way to the camp. Like, they like pass them on the highway. I said, this walked so Lindsay Lohan and The Parent Trap could run.
True.
This movie walked so that movie could run.
Summer camp.
Because this movie was what? I want to say 96, 95?
Yeah, something in there.
And Parent Trap was 1998.
Yes.
So Alyssa arrives at the summer home, which is another mansion. They're expecting a surprise party for her.
Yeah, she thinks that's why her dad didn't pick her up at the airport because he's planning a surprise party for me.
But she gets there. Steve Guttenberg comes out, gives her a very warm greeting.
Daddy. She seems to really love her dad. Like they have a genuine relationship, even though they're a little strained because he's not around very much.
Well, she's at a boarding school, I think, too, like an academy. Yeah, that's what they said.
Oh, okay.
That's where she was coming from.
She was coming from there for the summer.
Yep.
Yes.
So we enter Clarice Kensington. There is a party, but it's not a surprise party for Alyssa. It's an engagement party.
This is the Parent Trap.
Yes. Clarice is rude to Vincenzo, also the Parent Trap. Vincenzo is the butler. Mm-hmm. And Alyssa was never at this particular summer house before, but had a fully furnished, stocked room with toys and clothes and everything.
Yeah, it was done up.
I wanted that room so bad.
Oh my gosh,
it's like a suite. It's like a wing of the house. But she was never at this particular summer house that she can remember.
That's a good point. I didn't piece that together.
I did, and I was like, things that make you go, So Camp Calloway is right across the pond or the lake or whatever it is, and it was Alyssa's mom's favorite charity project when she was alive.
So they bring in different organizations to have kids stay for the summer. So one of them is the orphanage
where Diane and Amanda are.
So they're coming for the week to stay there with their kids.
So that the kids can have like a summer experience.
Like a real camp experience. So it is a really nice charity. And Alyssa's mom seemed like such a doll.
Oh, she seemed like such an angel. They always are.
Dang, Clarice coming in.
Alyssa has a pseudo-English accent, I put, for some reason.
Yeah,
even though nobody's and it's inconsistent, like you said.
It's like they told the twins, like, I think Ashley played that part.
Did she?
They were probably like, be really proper, and she's like, well, British people are proper, so I'm not trying to work that in.
Amanda has a pseudo-New York accent.
Yeah, but she
comes and goes. Yeah. The Olsen twins are popular, acting like they were okay actors, but not necessarily in the nuances.
Yeah.
They were told to be themselves, and that's what they did.
And it worked.
And nobody thought twice about it. Orphans spot the Calloway house from across the camp, and they all talk, they're spreading rumors about how it's haunted. And Alyssa's spying on the campers with a telescope from the palace overlooking pauper orphan campers. Because that's what it looks like.
That's true. But she's longingly looking oh, I wonder what it's like over there to be normal.
Yes. How the other half lives. They say, Clarice walks in. She doesn't know Alyssa's looking through the telescope in this study or office or whatever it is. And they say the first Mrs. Calloway was a lovely woman, but look at this room. No wonder the woman's dead. She had no taste. And I'm like, what?
No, and it's also they haven't been here in 10 years?
I know, it's gonna be out of date.
But that was a very good impression, by the way.
Thank you.
You sounded like her. Oh my goodness!
Thank you. So Alyssa finds out that her dad is marrying Clarice, and Alyssa pretends to faint.
Yeah, that's her shtick, it seems. When I'm not getting my way, I'm gonna faint.
And I want attention. Yep. And everybody fawns over me.
It works. She found a way.
Yeah. And Clarice pretty much told Steve Guttenberg's character not to give into it. By her age, she's been through 3 stepfathers or 3 stepmothers or whatever, and she's never going to learn to stop doing it if you keep giving her the attention.
So he doesn't. He walks away.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it didn't work this time.
So now Alyssa says that she's an orphan since now she lost her father too, and she's running away.
She's going to run away to be with the other orphans.
I put amazing girl bedroom and closet. It was fabulous. Just pink and pastel. So 90s. And
but she told this to Vincenzo, so he knows she's running away.
He figured he's going to let her burn off some steam.
Yeah.
And she'll be back before dark, because where's she going to go?
This seems like this happens fairly regularly.
I think so too. Amanda, on the other hand, got dared to ring the bell at the haunted house by the orphan kids. So she's on her way back there, too. They answer the door. Vincenzo answers the door, and they think Amanda is Alyssa.
They're like, "Oh, we've been waiting for you," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it really is haunted."
Because like they knew who she was.
Yeah, they took her into the house, and all the other kids are like, "Oh my gosh!"
Well, the orphan kids are hiding in the bushes out front, and they see Clarice in a bathrobe, and like she's all in white. She's got her hair up in a white towel.
She had a face mask.
A face mask on, so she's all white, and she's walking down the hallway like this.
Yeah, it's a very elaborate walking. Wrists.
So they think she's a ghost, and they freak out and hightail it.
Yeah, they're out of there. They ditch their friend who got taken into the ghost house.
Okay. Diane finds Alyssa and thinks she's Amanda. So she starts saying, "Come on, everybody's waiting for you." Like so.
She's so sweet,
and she's such the mom. Yeah, and she's like, "You have," like Alyssa was just like so overcome that somebody was looking for her. Yeah, she's
so happy to have someone pay attention to her and want her.
So it makes me think that maybe they're not the most attentive.
Well, it's clear if that's why she's fainting.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think it's kind of half and half. They have to meet in the middle a little bit. Alyssa's playing flag football, and Amanda has to wear a dress. So they are just both, they don't know.
Yeah, for the engagement party, she's got to put on a dress.
And it's gorgeous. Like, I wanted that dress so bad. Hi, friends. We figured we'd let them in advance in this one.
Bust in on them. But yeah, that dress was gorgeous.
I remember I had this as like a chapter book when this came out too. I think I was in like 3rd grade maybe when this came out, and it was in book order. So it was one of those chapter books where you had like the picture inserts from the movie.
And that was, I do vaguely remember this.
And I used to look at those pictures all the time and be like, "Oh, I want that dress. I want that." And I remember thinking that the dress for the engagement party was better than the dress for the wedding.
Oh, I loved the wedding one. Did you? That was my jam.
So she has to wear a dress. They've not been to the house in years, but commissioned a painting of present day Alyssa in the foyer.
Right, yeah.
It's present day her, so she freaks out again because she's like, they knew I was coming.
Yeah, so she's like,
this is still Amanda.
She's still confused why they're taking her in here.
But they haven't been there in years, like not since she was a baby.
Yeah,
so she doesn't remember it, but they have this fully commissioned painting. Some things are not adding up. I know Steve Gutenberg has money, but dang. Alyssa runs from the football game because she doesn't know how to play football.
So she runs and just keeps on going.
And Amanda runs from the haunted Calloway house and collide into each other in the middle of the woods. And that's how they meet, and they see that they look alike. So they plot to be each other for one night so Amanda can scare off Clarice and Alyssa can have fun at camp. Amanda is fooling around and she's late for the party, but glad Vincenzo isn't pissed. She didn't know what to like. She couldn't think. She was like being very proper, like Alyssa. Yeah, she's like, "I'm ever so glad you're not pissed." Alyssa tries sloppy joes for the first time, and she's like Diane's like, "Well, it's your favorite food," and she's like, "Yeah, big messy burger thing."
Yeah, big messy burger.
She's like, "Some might call it a sloppy joe." But Alyssa also loves sloppy joes, which is Amanda's favorite. She finds. But it's all over her face. She loved, that we loved Alyssa's dresses in the movie. Amanda explains that she can't play piano, but Clarice threatens, so that's what, like, Alyssa's, like, known for, is, like, her piano playing.
She's a very good pianist.
Yeah, at her boarding school, and she's done competitions, and blah, blah,
she
blah.
just won some prestigious award. Yeah.
So Clarice threatens her and makes her anyways, and Muffy hears all this. And Clarice's friend Muffy is there listening. But I'm like, who are you trying to impress? And why? Like, why? Like, I'd be like, well, she doesn't want to do it. I'm not going to have her make a stink in front of all these people.
My new stepdaughter.
Who I absolutely adore.
And then Amanda goes up. This is for my new stepmother, who I absolutely adore. And then just starts banging on the keys.
Elbows and
and she saw the music and was like, normally I would play from Chopin.
Choppin'.
Chopin.
Oh, Chopin. Okay. So Roger, Steve Gutenberg, because I finally got his name, feels she is asking for attention, and Vincenzo said, I'd say she's demanding it. Vincenzo's great during this, by the way.
He is. He's a voice of reason.
He's the Chessie in this
He
movie.
is the Chessie. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
Even though he's the formal proper, he's got that Brooklyn...
A little pizzazz to him.
That little, he's got some, he's seen some things.
This wasn't his first job.
No. This is like after he retired from the mob or something. Alyssa does charades at camp, and she gets London Bridges falling down. She doesn't know what to do, so she
does her faint.
And they get it, and they win the charades.
So all the orphans are loving her.
Yeah, because they think she's Amanda. Mm-hmm. Clarice goes back to the city tomorrow, and Roger will fix 5 years absent parenting in one day, I put.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing, Kat?
Poke me in the eye. Yeah, so Clarice is going to go give them some time to bond.
Yeah, to bond. Yeah, the one day. Yeah. Boys from the camp put a frog in Alyssa's bunk, and she screams, and Diane says she should have saved it to kiss. And she's like, ew, you'd kiss a frog?
And she's like, I gotta get a husband somehow.
Clarice leaves the next morning, and Amanda hugs her goodbye. There's a montage of the girls.
Oh, wait.
Nope, it's later.
I think they show it.
Well, they show her put it in, but we don't. Clarice doesn't know it yet.
I know.
Okay. Well, then go ahead, spoil it.
It doesn't spoil. You see it happen.
But it's very subtle. If you don't know what's coming, you don't necessarily know.
If you're watching the movie, you see it.
Fine.
She's chomping away on her gum. And then she hugs Clarice and sticks it in her hair.
Mm-hmm. So there's a montage of the girls doing rich girl, poor girl thing.
So much fun.
Yes. And then Clarice is in the limo and discovers that Amanda put gum in her hair.
She put it high up.
Yeah, too. It was. There's no fixing that.
And they're gonna get married super soon.
Yeah,
so
like in like a month or something like that. Alyssa and Amanda, they meet up to switch back at the stables, but Clarice will be back in 1 week. And they plot to get Roger and Diane to meet and fall in love because Alyssa finds out how great Diane is.
She's like, oh my gosh, she's the best.
Yeah, Amanda lets her know how great her dad, Alyssa's dad is.
Yeah, he's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, of course, we got to get them together.
Yeah. So they spook Diane's horse. So it runs off. They're all riding horses, all four of them.
Yeah.
The private stables and the camp horses.
Yeah, so this is when rich girl, poor girl overlap.
Yes.
Horses.
Yeah. Because as a poor girl, I know horses.
Clearly. I mean, they are uncomfortable on them, but I don't think the camp will just let you go out with horses.
But without a guide.
Right.
Or anybody with you. Like, it's just Diane and Amanda riding these horses together.
Yeah. I don't think that would fly.
So, I put the classic Kirstie Alley raspy scream.
Yes.
Yeah. And Roger saves Diane.
Oh, it's just lovely.
So then, after they're riding away on the calm horse, after Steve Gutenberg got calmed down, he hits a branch and falls so Diane can help him. Because he's not paying attention. He's just
talking to her. It's immediately flirty.
Yes. And he invites Diane to talk about the camp.
No, and she's like, oh my gosh, I love your camp. You're amazing.
Sparks are flying as Diane treats his cut on his forehead, and the girls are spying in a tea cart for some reason at the Calloway house.
Yeah, that's rich people, I guess. They have tea carts where you can just hide underneath.
Roger thought that cell phones were cool, so he bought airspace, but he doesn't carry one. He hates the things.
Yeah, because that's where he made his money. In
cell phones. Callaway Cellular.
Yeah.
Of the airspace, not the phones.
Yes.
So Clarice calls and he interrupts Diane time. Diane leaves while Roger's on the phone because Clarice is freaking out because she found that this gum is in her hair.
And Diane's realizing it. She's like,
he's got somebody. This isn't going to go anywhere. Roger is unsure if he loves Clarice after talking to Amanda. And Diane is smitten with Roger Calloway back at camp. Because wasn't it like somebody saying like, oh, the rich guy who owns the camp, and she's like, he's not.
Yeah, he's just a normal guy.
Yeah.
Like she was like defending him.
Yep. Alyssa is defending Roger and his first wife to Diane, who questions nothing of how she knows this information.
Yes. Yeah.
She's like, well, his first wife, they're probably just rich and they're probably just into that. No, she was a school teacher before. She's like, she doesn't ask how she knows.
It's just, I guess it's common knowledge about the Callaways here.
She read the pamphlet. Vincenzo is Roger's best man. I said he must have no friends because his hired help is his best man.
I think he's too busy working. He's a workaholic. He doesn't have time for friends. He doesn't even have time for his child, for goodness sake.
The Butkusses want Amanda, and Roger goes to camp to find Diane. So they called up saying like they want Amanda right away. They weren't even gonna let her come back.
Yeah, and Diane's like on the phone, like, wait, please let me adopt her. Give me
and
one
how
more
can
chance.
you approve an adoption without the report of the social worker first and all this stuff?
So she's all flustered, and Roger shows up.
Which that's a good question. Why did this go through so fast? What don't we know about the Butkusses? What kind of financial gifts are they giving to this
there's obviously
organization?
something going on that they're collecting all these kids.
So they're upset. She's upset because she wants to adopt Amanda.
You want to leave?
Yeah, let him out.
Goodbye.
Bye, friend.
See you in 2 minutes.
She's Diane's upset because she wants to adopt Amanda, and Diane's on mess hall duty, and Roger joins her for lunch. He invites her to lunch, but then she invites Sol. She's like, well, it's my kid's day to serve in the cafeteria.
I have to be there.
Yeah, and she's
But she's not doing anything. She's just sitting in there eating.
She's like managing
I guess. But watching. I'm sure they do what they should. But like you think if it was her kid's day, she would be back in the kitchen.
Right,
and
scooping and filling bowls and everything
but
that.
No, apparently not.
So she says that if he has his heart set on Italian, their specialty for that day is mac and cheese.
He asked if it still comes with a fruit cup or something. And she's like, oh yeah. Or peach cobbler or something.
Peach cobbler, I
think,
cobbler. Yeah. He blurts out that his wife is dead over cheering kids. They were like,
she's dead. It's okay.
Yeah. No, she died a few years ago. Before when my daughter was just a little girl, just a baby. Yeah. But they're like shouting this over kids, like banging on.
She's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's all right.
Diane is smitten. It's Roger's first time back to camp, is to see her, because he hadn't been back to the camp since his wife passed, and she wants to introduce him to Amanda.
She's like, I gotta show you this kid.
Yeah. So Alyssa, sees that her dad's sitting there with Diane, and she gets pushed over to the table by another kid, and then she hides behind the chef hat to hide her face from Roger and starts a food fight to distract Roger and Diane, because Diane's like, take off that thing, what are you doing? Diane's snort laughing, and I said that that's the way to get a man, though, because I did that with Dave when we were very new, we hadn't even started dating, we were just friends, and I did that and reeled him right in.
That's what it was, I'm sure. The snort laugh.
The snort laugh. He brings it up a lot.
But yeah, so there's a huge fight in the mess hall. Just absolutely trash. And I'm pretty sure if your kids are the ones serving on the day there's a food fight, you're going to be in charge of cleaning it up.
Yes, exactly.
But
not Diane.
Caution to the wind.
Not Diane. So Roger and Diane jump in a lake to clean up.
Yep. Which is Roger's idea. He's very kind of manic in this moment. Let's go. And just runs into the lake.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm not jumping in. And he's like, come on. And she's like, yes. So
he pretends he's drowning. Yeah. So she'll have to come in and save him. And she jumps in and can't find him anywhere.
She's in a very clingy sweater.
Oh, yes. This was the sex appeal of this movie.
But it's very, it's not like a sexy sweater.
No,
it's
after
very billowy.
Wet. But it's like summer. What?
She's in jeans and sweaters and blazers the entire movie.
Maybe on the lake. I don't know.
Okay, so Vincenzo's spying on Roger and Diane from the house telescope.
Yeah, he's watching through the telescope. He can clearly see that's him.
Definitely. And Clarice arrives home with a terrible new haircut and can tell that swimming blobs at the camp are Roger and Diane.
Yep. Yeah, because she sees him looking out and was like, "Oh, what was he looking at?" Yeah, and then just instantly,
he purposely
ran into it to move it.
Yeah, and she's like, "Well, what was he looking at, anyways?" And obviously, it's Roger. Yeah, and then he did her dirty with this haircut. I'd get a wig. I think.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
It was
and they
so
have
bad.
wig money. She could get a good wig.
Uh-huh. I wonder if it was a wig or if they actually cut her hair like that.
I don't know. Because I mean, it was kind of 90s-ish, but it was not doing her any favors. Mm-hmm. And it's very drastic. And maybe extensions weren't a thing.
I doubt they were at this point.
Because I feel like she would have extension money, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they had all sorts of money to fix this.
And she seems like she was wealthy, too. Like, it wasn't just him's wealth.
Yeah,
she came from a
What we learn later on in the way is, like, she's the matronly sibling.
Yeah,
like, her younger sister's already married, and so she's just trying to marry anybody.
Yeah. So, Roger...
expectations for who she's gonna marry.
Roger almost kisses Diane as the girls knock a whole line of canoes down.
By accident. They're like,
oh,
we were so close.
And Diane finds out about Roger getting married because he said, oh, it's a sign.
Yeah.
And feels that she was a last fling. I thought it said thing. A last fling. But it kills her because they could have been great together.
Yeah, and she uses that same line that...
Can't eat, can't sleep, over the fence, World Series kind of thing.
Uh-huh. And he was like, wait a second. I heard this because Amanda had said it to him. And he was like, oh.
Yeah. This must be common knowledge. The girls plan one last meeting of Diane and Roger with notes.
Yeah, like they send each other notes. Oh, yeah,
send each other notes.
The girls wrote these fake notes.
Mm-hmm, these letters, like, meet me at where we first met.
I'm thinking like a 10-year-old's handwriting.
Yeah, you're gonna tell. But Clarice moves up the wedding to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even though she has no bridesmaid friends.
Yes. So, I guess she doesn't care who she's marrying.
No.
Even if he was willing to swim with another lady the instant he left.
I'd be like,
she's like, whatever, I'll just marry him for his money. Bye.
And she didn't seem overly old, too. Like, I think this is like where we're 28 and they act like we're a spinster.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
I don't think she was that old.
She looked it, but
again,
it's that mid-90s. It's very deceiving. Yes.
It is.
So Amanda finds out about going back to the city for the wedding tomorrow. And that she'll be shipped off to boarding school year-round because Clarice tells her that. Diane shows for apparently immediate meeting in most matronly dress ever.
Yeah, why did you even bring a dress to camp? Why are you in this?
It looked like she was going to a funeral.
Yeah, it did.
Like,
this was her fancy.
This was in the era where they were trying to say Kirstie Alley was fat too, and she's not at all.
Dressing her.
They're dressing her really
clingy,
frumpy, and it's not form fitting. It's not doing her. She was not fat.
Oh my gosh, she wasn't at all. I mean, we saw her come out of that lake, that sweater clinging to her.
She looked good.
She looked great.
And this dress was awful.
Yeah.
This looks like what your great aunt would wear to a funeral.
Yes, but I was so confused of why she brought that to camp.
Yeah, because I said, and it's apparently an immediate meeting.
They're meeting at that day.
Yep.
They have to meet.
Now, the butt kisses come to the camp to adopt Amanda immediately, Alyssa. Mm-hmm. Okay, they were in Staten Island.
Staten Island, yes.
So they take her back to Staten Island and rename her Betty Buttkiss.
And Diane realizes, sees them driving by.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alyssa, who is playing the role of Amanda at this point, to Diane is like, you gotta help me. And she's like, wait. Yeah. So she's freaking out. She steals the camp car. Or whatever.
The bus. Yeah. So there's wall-to-wall limos in Manhattan as Clarice Kensington finally lands her man.
Yes. So she's like
on
a
the radio.
Of sorts.
The kids. Okay. The Buttkiss kids do child labor in the dad's junkyard.
Yeah, so that's why they adopt so many kids, so they can get free labor.
The neighbor kind of tips off
Diane.
Yeah, I don't know if it's later. Yeah, no, it's later. Okay, so this is just what is being revealed to Alyssa, who is playing Amanda.
Yeah, she's like, and so then she's got to wear gross stuff, and all the kids are being super mean to her.
Yeah, and they all have B names. They all get renamed to B names, except for the one kid who's Harry Jr. That's theirs.
That
one's ours. Yeah,
son. Yes,
and he's management,
and he looks exactly like the dad. Was it his real child?
I didn't look that up. I wonder that too.
I looked up facts and it didn't say anything. Okay. There weren't a lot of facts about this though.
It's kind of an obscure movie at this point.
It is, yeah.
But so the Amanda proves with scars that she's not Alyssa to Vincenzo. Because he's like, every mole, every scar. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, because both girls now at this point are trying to say, hey, I'm this other person, and nobody's believing them.
Right, because they're like, sure, right.
Yeah, so like the butt kisses aren't believing, I am Alyssa Calloway. Yeah. Like, sure, why aren't you at his wedding then?
Yeah. And Amanda's like, well, this one. He's like, oh, that one escapes me. You know, like,
I forget what they were. It was like
rusty nail sliding into home. Or it was her foot one, right in my foot. Which, it wouldn't be in your foot if it were sliding into home. You were sliding. But again, we're not baseball people, but we pretend we are in this movie. Okay. So Amanda, again, proves that she is not Alyssa to Vincenzo. Vincenzo listens to Amanda instead of telling his boss about his endangered child. He tells, like, as Amanda says, don't say anything. We're going to get Alyssa.
Yeah, like, you could instantly stop this wedding, dude.
Right. And say, like, hey, this isn't your kid. We got to go get your kid. There's been some kind of mix-up. And that's what, you know, a trusted employee of many decades would do.
Not this clown. Nope.
So
We're gonna handle it ourselves and get you back in time.
Vincenzo comes to Diane at the orphanage and shows her Alyssa and Amanda's identical photographs. Like, he's like, well, that's
that's my Amanda.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, this was just the other night So, somehow it is Diane's problem to get Alyssa back.
Right. Like,
Vincenzo's not helping at all except for a number for Lou in case of emergency.
Yeah, it's like, what sort of duties do you have to do right now that you can't be part of this?
Right. He pretty much says, like, you have to get this kid back. This is your fault. Well, it's not her fault. They swiped this kid before while she wasn't even there. She was trying to hook up with Roger Calloway. Roger is pondering the World Series thing with Vincenzo. Diane arrives at the Butkus house and finds out from a neighbor that they are at the salvage yard. And the neighbor lets him know he works those kids to the bone. Why do you think he has so many? Oh, I know. And how does social services not pick up on this? They keep giving them kids.
Well, they played a good part. Like, oh, she's so cute.
Yeah, are there school? Like, do they send them to school during the day? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's summer. Nobody cares about school at this point.
I guess. I just feel like there's a way social services would pick up on that.
But, I don't know. This was a different time, too.
Yeah.
They weren't maybe as involved.
That's New York. I don't know. Diane arrives in the junkyard via helicopter. Oh, Clarice has a temper tantrum and starts rushing the wedding because it's taking too long. Diane arrives in the junkyard via helicopter to get Alyssa because she calls the Lou number after she finds out from the neighbor what's going on.
Yeah, so Lou is the private helicopter pilot, I guess.
But I said, why not start with the helicopter?
Yeah, why not just say, here, take my helicopter and go.
Call this number and go because, you know.
This will be faster, obviously.
But he's like, well, she needs to be at his wedding. But you're not helping. Yeah. It's complete ridiculous. Diane will report the Butkuses to social services after she secures her man, I put. Cause like that's what she's like. She swoops down, gets Amanda or Alyssa, and then she's like, and I'm reporting all this to social services. Well, they didn't take your opinion the last time.
Right. And it's also like you're just swiping this kid from them. Like they legally I guess the paperwork probably didn't go through that fast though.
Probably not. It was like the next day.
Right.
Maybe the same day with the way this thing was moving.
I don't know. This all happened in like 24 hours.
Yeah, because the week at camp was not up.
No. Yeah.
They all decide they're going to
I'm going to say this is like a 3-day process here.
Yeah. So Amanda's trying to stall the wedding in the processional. The chopper lands on a baseball diamond in Central Park, and Clarice's father says, who would have thought my first little girl would be the last to get married? And Clarice
she's so mad.
She's
Shut up, Daddy!
And she jumps the line and runs to the front
Pushes the bridesmaids out of the way.
Yep, runs up to the altar.
Okay, I'm here. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Yeah. Diane and Alyssa steal a horse and carriage. And Roger's not saying I do. Like, they're doing their vows, but he's frozen. And he's flapping.
Isn't there like a montage
There's
of
a
Diane?
flashback to Diane. Yeah, like just a montage, like Shirley said, in his memory. Diane and Alyssa show up at the church, which Diane said she was not going to go in the church. Mm-hmm. Roger says that he can't marry Clarice and is in love with someone else. And Clarice slaps Roger, tries to slap Amanda, but then, like, she stopped. Mm-hmm. Then sees Alyssa in the back of the church and tries to slap her. But and announce like who stops her the second time? Was it Diane?
Diane stopped. Vincenzo stopped the first one. Slap. He protected the Amanda because it's fake Alyssa. Yep. And then Diane protected the real Alyssa.
Yeah. Yep, the real Alyssa. And then she says that she's never been more humiliated in all her life. And I put, until Alyssa rips her skirt and her undies are on full display for all to see. She like
stomps down on her train and
she's walking away. Down. She's like scuttling away. Yeah.
And everybody in the church is just laughing. Like, these are your family and friends. Yeah. And they're just...
I know. So, it's so silly. So then... Okay, yeah. Roger sees the girls together as all the guests leave. I said, really? You don't want to stay for the show?
I know. I'd be there. I'd be like,
all the guests are like
stand?
Shuffling out. Like, they're leaving. And like, there's just the four of them standing there.
It's also like, if I got ready, I got geared up for this socialite wedding.
I want to see what's going on.
I know. And I'm going to be pretty bummed about a missing reception now at this point. Too. I'm going to try and head over that way. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're headed to see.
Maybe. They want the food.
Yeah, let's quick before they announce it's canceled.
Roger talks to Diane and the girls outside and finds out the girls planned it all. They planned everything. And then the girls say, so kiss already, at the end of the World Series Love in tandem. Uh-huh. Roger buys the Central Park horse that they rode up on.
That's a country horse or something.
The guy showed up who, like...
They took it from.
Yeah.
He's all mad.
And he's like, well, whatever it costs, we'll take it. That horse deserves a home in the country.
It'd be like $8 million.
Yeah.
That's my selling price.
So they all ride off for the story to be told with nary a social worker adoption decree in sight. Roger says... Roger, she looks like my daughter, so I can adopt her. No questions asked. Certainly, Mr. Calloway.
I'm pretty sure he's got some pull. Either way, he's going to make this happen.
But yeah, no, like they just ride off in the sunset. No questions, no concerns. No, hey, we got to get her back to the orphanage and sort all this out right now.
Nope, they're just, yay, we're a happy family now.
And Diane meets and apparently is going to marry the person that she met 24 hours ago.
Yeah, this woman who is like, I just need to find a good man. Didn't vet this man very much.
No.
Nope.
You can hide a lot. I guess, money talks. He's got private jets and houses and owns a camp and, I guess the money's there. But... Wowzers. So that's why I said this one walked so Parent Trap could run.
There's a lot of similarities.
A lot of similarities. Yes. And this was, I remember thinking this one was kind of weird. When we were a kid, I remember like asking Mom about it, like how they could look alike and not be related.
Yeah, it wasn't adding up.
We had seen the original Parent Trap at this point.
We know how this works. So yeah, twins are split apart. Not this time.
Not this time. They're just identical strangers.
Yes. I don't know how. I mean, you get doppelgangers, I guess.
But these are identical strangers, even though the Olsen twins are not identical.
That's true. Yeah.
They're fraternal.
But they are very similar for fraternal.
Yeah, they are.
Did you recognize Vincenzo?
No.
He's the detective in 3 Men and a Baby.
You're right. He is.
So he and Steve Bloomberg have a past.
They reunited. Yes, I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the whole time I was like, he seems so familiar.
He did, and I was.
And then at the end, I looked up. I was like, ah!
I was gonna look it up and I forgot. Yeah, that's fantastic, though. Yes, I do remember him because he was very prominent in that movie.
Yes. So that was probably his job before he got this gig. He was the detective, and then he retired.
NYPD.
And he retired, and then came here for this side gig.
I mean, that's how, at my job, we get a lot of our security guys that retired.
Yeah, cops, all security jobs. Like, that's what they are these days.
And hey, if you're going to work security, why not work for some guy who's going to pay for your room and board and, like, primo eats and
he's not asking very much of him. Like,
No.
this doesn't seem like a very laborious
he's
job.
not like the nanny where he's with the kid all the time.
Right.
The kid's kind of feral. Like, she's on her own. They just check up on her when she needs to be somewhere.
Yep. They're like, hey, here's your appointment later. Put your dress on.
So, yes. I mean, it was a cute little
It's
movie.
fun for kids.
Yeah.
Kids like this.
I
My
think-
daughter liked it. I
Did-
showed it to her and she loved it. So.
Well, my son was asking me today what we were filming, and I was telling him what it was, and he was like, I was like, it's a kid's movie. He's like, oh, can we watch it? I'm like, yeah, where were you when I watched it?
And I like your outfit.
Oh,
that
thank
you
you.
Had an Amanda
I
moment.
tried. I was like, what can I tie in for this? Because I certainly don't have an It Takes Two shirt.
Aw. Of all the shirts, you'd think you'd have the, oh, he's back.
Because that's the shirt.
That's the shirt that you should have.
Let me get
Oh,
this.
come here, Zara. Say goodbye. Say see you next time.
But it's cute to revisit, and it's still cute even though it's, like, what, 20 years old?
Yeah, it's goofy, but it's cute.
It is, yes. Like, all the characters are fun. The actors are all fun.
They are, yeah. They do a good job in their parts. Like,
They
it's
do.
not cheesy. It's not, like, 'cause some over-the-top kids' movies are just like, oh,
Yeah.
the acting's so bad.
Clarice
but,
is cheesy, but she's supposed to
yeah,
be.
and it's funny cheesy.
And how does Steve Gutenberg not see through that? Like, she's fake the whole time.
Yeah, it's very obvious.
It's very obvious. Yeah.
I think the instant he saw that haircut, he should have.
That's when he was like, oh.
Well, he turns, he goes, your hair! Yeah. Like, he quick catches himself, like, oh, I shouldn't be saying this is no good.
Your hair. Yeah, yeah, because it was, like, high up on her head. Like, there was no, like, saving that. Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us for
Really
yet another movie review.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube and comment. Let us know. Have you seen this one? Do you remember this one? Is this something new?
And if you don't, go back and watch.
Yeah. Please also follow us on our social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Sisters and Ebert. And we look forward to seeing you again at the movies.